Hey guys, thanks for joining me today. I'm here with Cassiy Johnson, Etsy expert and fellow YouTuber, print on demand YouTuber. If you missed our previous interview, by the way, check that out. I can link to that in the description along with her channel. But you dropped a video recently talking about an error with the Printful and SwiftPOD production partner, the integration there, and that caught a lot of people's attention, myself included. So do you want to elaborate for everybody on exactly what happened and how it affected your business? And also, of course, thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me on again, Ryan. Always fun to connect. So yeah, essentially what happened is Printify's integration with SwiftPOD had an issue between September 1st and September 8th, where any order of multiple items got completely messed up. Only one of the items on the order actually got sent to SwiftPOD. So not SwiftPOD's fault. It was definitely the integration, but is causing all types of headaches for myself and lots of other Etsy sellers that really do focus a lot on group orders like group Christmas shirts and bachelorette shirts. So luckily, I didn't have too many orders messed up, but I know some people out there, if you're watching, I'm so sorry if you have hundreds of orders messed up. So essentially, what they're doing is if any order from September 1st to September 6th that had a messed up order, you should be getting an email today that they're canceling that order. So typically what happened, like for me, I had some orders with like 12 shirts. They actually only sent one shirt. And so they went ahead and canceled the other 11 shirts. And it's up to you to decide with your customer if you still want to send those other 11 and actually create a manual order. So this is going to be quite the headache to fix. But then any orders between September 7th and September 8th, actually they are going to create reprint orders for you and take care of that. So this will be only the orders between September 1st and September 6th that were a problem. And I think they've gotten through all of the cancellations. So if you're watching this today, you probably have already gotten all the cancellation emails that you will get. And so I would just work off of that list and kind of go through one by one and kind of fix them, with your customers, and maybe extend your shipping times on Etsy since it's going to take a little while to get those out to the customers, unfortunately.
Yeah, I thank you for sharing that, by the way, because yeah, that's great investigative work. You got all the details. I noticed like I've been using my designs a lot because I can kind of like bulk automate the optimization of my Etsy listings, my new listings, get the mockups done, and then they integrated with SwiftPOD. So I was really excited for that. I actually was like holding off on publishing new products for a while so I could use the SwiftPOD integration because they're reviewed so highly on Printify. I keep saying Printful, I think, Printify. And I noticed, like, 'cause I had a customer message me through the Etsy messaging system yesterday. They were like, hey, like, is this shirt going to get to me by this date? Now, in my head, I'm normally like, of course it will. They tend to get them out quickly. And I looked and I'm like, it's still in processing though. And you mentioned that SwiftPOD was like moving facilities or something. Do you think that's maybe slowing down the production time right now?
Yeah, I definitely think it is. So they're moving to a larger location, probably partially because they are partnering with My Designs and a lot of people are using them. So I'm sure they needed a little bit more space. And since they started that move recently, I have seen a slow in their production time. But I will say in the 2.5 years I've been using SwiftPOD, they have been great to me. I've had great prints, great experiences. I wouldn't be like scared off from using them for any reason. But issues do happen sometimes. So I think potentially fulfilling a couple things through someone else like Monster Digital or someone in the meantime might be a good move, because I think they were running a little slow after the move. And now after this issue and prioritizing all the orders that didn't get sent out correctly, they're probably going to be even a little bit extra behind this next week as they fix it.
Got you. Yeah. And then, having been through a couple Q4s, like the fourth quarter sales rushes in the past, as much as it sucks that this happened, for some perspective, I think it's actually not that bad that it happened in September instead of any time like after this, right? Like October, November, December. This is definitely preferable. So, because in the fourth quarter, when things get real crazy, if you have massive delays or issues with like API integrations, that would just be miserable.
Yeah, I'm glad they're making the move now in September instead of closer to the end of the year, because I know I've had issues with other print providers in years past and had lots of manual orders I had to fix. So just know that little things like this do happen sometimes, and it's not a big deal. You'll get through it. You can fix it. It's still worth it to build your business, be your own boss, but you are going to run into some of these speed bumps along the way, but you can get through it and it'll be fine. But if you are one of the ones with lots of these orders that have issues with Swift POD this week, just know we're all in this together and it'll be over soon.
Yeah, and anybody watching that's using Printify, let us know. Are you using Swift POD? Were you affected, or what is your like go-to? What's your favorite production partner? Let us know in the comments below. And I wanted to actually use this video as an opportunity to mention that, like, for the Gear Bubble users that watch my channel, their Amazon API integration has been down for like a month, I feel like. And it's been super annoying because not only did I like manually push a bunch of products to Amazon Seller Central through Gear Bubble, because they're one of the few that integrates, but like I use software called POD Turbo as well that like automates 200 products a day for me. Because it's kind of like they space out the product pushes so it doesn't just flood them and then you get throttled. So that also hasn't been working for me too. So it's like every day I gotta, you know, typically 1 or 2 or 3. And it's a good problem to have, but like I have to recreate these orders. And if I create the products in POD Turbo, then I like it doesn't exist in my Gear Bubble account. So then I have to like recreate the actual product in Gear Bubble before I can order it to the customer. And yeah, it's just not been great. It's not been ideal September for Printify or Gear Bubble users, it sounds like.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, it just starts to pile on sometimes. But again, like you said, better in September than in November. But again, I think this is a really good call out, Ryan, to make sure that your business is as automated as possible. That way, when these things come up, you've got the time to fix them and you're not spending hours manually putting through orders or, you know, doing anything that isn't super efficient to make sure that when stuff happens, you've got the time to fix it for sure.
Yeah, definitely agree there. So as we wrap up the video today, anything that, you know, people should be aware of that you're working on with maybe your Etsy business or your YouTube channel that you want to plug before we sign off?
Yeah, I'm definitely working on a lot more YouTube videos for Etsy, especially to help you gear up for Q4. So keep an eye out for my videos on advice on how to make the most of your sales for Q4, because that is really the best time, especially if you're new, to really help your Etsy store just take off. I know my first year I was selling in 2020. I didn't have that many sales, but then all of a sudden November, I sold like 70,000 in 1 month. And that has just really catapulted my business the rest of the time. So don't sleep on Christmas. I've already got a couple of videos on my channel about how to do bestsellers and how to do research. So definitely check those out if you are on Etsy. And if you are having issues with this Swift POD issue, I did do a full video yesterday with step-by-step instructions of exactly what I did to make sure all my orders get fixed. So if you're having issues with this, feel free to check out that video and it'll be kind of more exact. Do this, then do this, then do this to make sure it all gets fixed.
Nice. All right. And I will link, actually, I'll just link directly to that video. Okay. So guys, check that out. The subscribe button will be sitting there waiting for you to click it on Cassie's channel when you check out that video. Also, it reminded me, you said Christmas. I just recorded, I kind of like recorded it ahead of time, but I saw this hilarious, I thought it was funny, Christmas sweater ad on Twitter. Like already they're advertising it. So I don't know, it caught my eye. And so I did a whole video just kind of like sharing it. I liked how they did the ad. I liked how they did the website that it took you to. So look forward to that video on my channel, everybody that's watching, because it'll make you laugh. I thought it was a really funny sweater idea. So I'm looking forward to that one.
Good. I'm excited to see it. Thanks so much for having me, Ryan.